Hello again and welcome back to Panda Food and Adventures. Tonight I'm going to make a tasty Greek dish that's easy and very delicious. Moussaka. So let's get started. First of all, you need to slice the eggplants into 1 centimetre thick slices. Season with salt and set aside for 30 minutes. Meanwhile, peel your potatoes and slice them into about 10 millimetre slices ready to fry. Okay, so now I'm going to fry the sliced potatoes off till they're nice and golden, and then set them aside on some paper towel to drain. So I'm just going to put them in the pan with some olive oil. You can use vegetable oil. Olive oil is pretty good. Don't have the pan too low and don't have it too hot, because otherwise it'll just the potatoes will become they'll suck up too much oil. Okay, we're nearly done with the potatoes. I've got my first lot there draining, so these are getting nice and golden. So once these are done, then I'll start on the eggplant. Okay, so my potatoes are done. They're just sitting aside waiting for assembly. So now I have to do my eggplant. Now my eggplant have been sitting for 30 minutes with salt on them. I rinsed them off and then I drained them on paper towel to get them nice and dry again. So they're ready now to go into the oil. So we'll do that. I'll fry off my eggplants. You got to make sure you get all the water off, otherwise they do splatter a little bit. Now I'm going to make the bechamel sauce. This is how we do it. What we need is turn my cooker on, put it on medium heat, don't have it on too high, but we want to melt the 2 tablespoons of butter in the pan. So put my 2 tablespoons of butter in and just let them melt. You don't want the butter to burn. So first of all we're going to make a roux, which is basically flour and butter. So just melt it over low heat, don't have it too high. Okay, so we're going to add some pepper to the butter, some salt to the butter. Give it a stir. So now I'm adding 2 tablespoons of flour. Just plain flour is what we use, but then stir it. So what will happen is it'll make a nice thick paste. So basically we've got to cook off the flour taste. So now I'm going to add the milk. I've got 1 litre of milk here, and the milk's got to be warm. Okay, not hot, just warm. So I'll pour a little bit of milk in at a time. So about a third of the milk at first. Give it a good stir. Keep stirring, you don't want it to burn. Okay, add some more milk. Keep whisking. Okay, so now, getting to that consistency there, I'm going to add the rest of the milk. Okay, so that's all the milk. That's 1 litre of warm milk. So just now combine it all, mix it well. So at this stage, I'll add 1 tablespoon of nutmeg. Goes in there. Give that a really good mix. We'll bring the temperature up a little bit now. So the reason we add the milk really slow, a bit at a time, is we don't want lumps in our bechamel sauce. We want it nice and smooth and silky. Okay, so now I'm going to add the parmesan. Which is about 85 grams to 100 grams of parmesan cheese. Give that a really good mix. Started to come together really nicely. Just turn it down. So you want your bechamel to be nice and thick. So now I'm going to whisk in 2 egg yolks. Just grab a whisk. So add your egg yolks and whisk them really well. So that's our bechamel sauce. That's ready to go. So what I'll do, I'll set that aside, and now I've got to prepare the filling, which is lamb mince. So now we're going to prepare the meat, the lamb mince. So I've got 1 chopped onion. So I'll put that into the pan. And some olive oil. So just sweat that off. So then I'm going to add my spices. So I've got some black pepper, put that in, some ground cinnamon, some thyme, a little bit of salt, and some oregano, just a little bit. I'll give that a good mix. Smells good. So now I'll put in my mince. This is lamb mince. So we need to brown the lamb mince off. Okay, so now I'm going to add some tomato paste. Add the garlic, the crushed garlic. Add my 2 cloves, my bay leaf, cinnamon stick, give it all a really good stir. Okay, so now I'm going to add my stock. I'm using chicken stock and red wine, so put that in. Let that simmer for a bit. Okay, so now I'm going to add my crushed tomatoes. In they go. Give a really good mix in. So that's it, that's the meat done. So what I'll do, I'll come back shortly. I'll let this simmer for about 15 minutes.
A few moments later.
So now I'm just going to do the assembly, which is the fun part. So first of all, I've got to put about 3 or 4 tablespoons of bechamel sauce in with the meat. Okay, leave that there. Give that a really good mix into the meat. The smell is really good, by the way. Okay, so my next step is to layer our potatoes we cooked before into the bottom of the pan. So I'm using a 30 centimetre by 25 centimetre lasagna pan. So we lay a layer of potato across the bottom. You don't need to put oil on the bottom because it's already got oil when the potatoes were cooked. So basically a layer of potato. So now I add the meat on top of the eggplant. Put the meat on top. That delicious lamb goes on top. So let me get rid of that. So just level this out on top of the eggplant. Spread it evenly. Let's put it up here so we can see it better. Okay, so now I add the rest of the bechamel sauce on top of this. So it's nice, spread it out on top. Nice thick layer of that. Okay, get it all out, all that goodness out of there. Don't leave any behind if you can help it. There you go, put that over here. So now I just spread that out evenly on top of this meat. Looks pretty good. So now the finishing touch is to put some finely grated parmesan cheese on top. As little or much as you like. This will give it a nice golden crust. I like parmesan, so I'm going to put a bit more on. Okay. So that's it. That's my moussaka. So now I'll put it in the oven for 30 minutes. Okay, that was about 30 minutes in the oven. It's out of the oven now. It's looking really good. So what we're going to do is now just let it sit here for 35 to 40 minutes and then I'll come back and we'll cut it up and plate it up. Okay, so the moussaka's been sitting now for 30 to 40 minutes. It's ready to serve. So I've just cut out 2 slices with some Greek potatoes I cooked a little bit earlier. So that recipe will be on the page as well. So have a look at that and we're going to eat. So bon appetit. Oh, stop. Go back to the beginning. I know what I want to say is thank you. Let's say thank you for. Now I'm going to make the bechamel,